So we're exploring some Wings of Glory, World War I tactics here. And the number one tactic in this game, when you are playing or controlling or working with multiple planes, these are the fundamentals. Stick together, have a wingman accompany your plane, and never break formation. Never. Now, on a side note, somewhat related, we have a house rule when we play Wings of Glory World War I. In selecting our movement cards and figuring out our tactics for the people on your side of the table, you are not allowed to communicate. It's hand signals only. Think about that. Knights of the Sky going out there for glory and honor. Hand signals only. Where I'm going with my plane, I need to kind of make that hand signal under the table or look at my fellow wingman and kind of push that way and lead that way on there. It's a house rule, and we have a lot of fun playing it. Certainly not a primary rule of Wings of Glory. But let's look at this idea of fielding 3 planes. And this is a great example because it captures the idea of utilizing the wingman. This can scale out to 8 planes, 10 planes. It works for everything but 1 plane. You can scale it down to 2, but 3 is where it operates. Modified slightly a little bit by the tech level and the capabilities, the turning capabilities and the power of your planes. I'm going to have my primary plane. This plane is really going to set and determine the actions, whether I'm going to go straight, whether I'm going to loop, whether I'm going to bank right or bank left. The wingman on the left and the right is going to be a card width or 2 back a little bit on there because I certainly don't want to overlap and I don't want to have any problems. Enough space that it's essentially a wedge. The advantage this has, and if you can visualize this, the advantage that this has with this wedge means that arc, that firing arc that projects out, any plane that comes within the sights of my lead plane, that's plane in the middle there, any opposing plane that comes in that sight, it's also going to be in the arc of the left wingman and the right wingman. This is redundancy. Look, this is a card-based game. So if I hit you at long range, you draw 1 card. All right, maybe you'll draw the explosion. Maybe I'll wound your pilot, damage your engine. But equally so, you might draw some zeros in there. Recent game, I'm pouring everything. I'm pouring everything on my man. And he's got like a hand of literally, I don't want to say half the damage deck, but like 15 cards in there. And I'm taking a beating too. I finally go down, 2 engine hits, stalls, I crash, and we had a great time. And I say, look, I have to know. I have to know. Show me your cards. And it's literally like 0, 0, 0, 1 damage, 2 damage, 0, 0, 0. He's got like every 0 in the deck. That can happen. So if I can hit you with 3 planes, if I can bring you into that firing arc and have the center, the left, and the right, that's 3 cards. That's 6 cards at close. I want to fly in that wedge so that literally anything that enters that firing arc is just going to get peppered with machine gun bullets on there. Turning to the left, turning to the right, the lead plane is going to determine where the group goes. The other 2 planes are going to follow. Secondary tactic to this, before we look into dealing with your opponent's plans, because this is kind of flying solo alone in the sky, flight school, something like that. It is a little bit different when there's a mission and you've got other planes flying at you and shooting at you. But essentially, I'm not going to try and chase down other planes. I'm not going to fly like to the left and straight and right. I'm going to look to fly in large territories and based on the size of the gaming table, box off various corners based on the firing arc so that opposing planes fly into my sights. I'm not going to try and chase down anybody. I'm going to try and move where I have the largest firing arc and wait for people to come in. Obviously, you might have a turret or a tail gunner on there that might push the firing arc back. There might be other arcs on there. So you're flying around. You're trying to leverage the fact that you're going to deal damage cards with 3 planes against 1. This is engaging 3 to 1. This is where we want to be. We'll do the best that we can. You now have a plane behind you. Someone has slipped behind you. And now, what do? We don't want to break that formation. The wingman never fully breaks formation. What you do there is you slow, the wingman, the lead plane will slow a little bit. The secondary, the left or right wingman will also slow. and then your choice, based on the positioning of the opposing plane, that right or left plane will drop back on there. You will drop one back behind, and then at least now you'll catch 1-1. When that plane that's behind you, it's going to get its shot off. Obviously, we're going to do the best to not let a plane get behind us, but it will happen at some point on there. When that does happen, at least now you've got something to shoot back. You've got a little bit of heat. You've got a little bit of some fire on that plane tailing you. That is enough that usually when they start taking damage, they will break. They will look to break off. And I'm not saying that's a bad tactic. One of the fundamental tactics ideally would be, and I agree with this fully, but it's working our way up to it. I believe to start this way, Tactica, is a little bit challenging. Only engage if you can't be fired upon. That's like the pinnacle. That's the blue max. That's what we're trying to do on there. But it takes a little bit to get there. So flying in this wedge, flying with a wingman, someone is going to get behind you, drop a plane back, put a little bit of heat on. When they bug off, when they bank off, reform and keep flying on there. 101, Wings of Glory, more than anything else. And of course, over time, your player personality, the planes you want to fly, historical perspectives, the missions, they're going to take place. But being able to stick together is massive. Whether you want to use hand signals for that and a house roulette, or you want to communicate, put it all on the lead plane and be ready to follow that lead plane and have a plan. If that lead plane goes down, who is now the flight leader?